It is my honor to introduce our Speaker of the House, Philip Gunn. Speaker Gunn began serving as the Speaker of the House in January of 2012, marking the first time in 136 years that a Republican had held this title in the Mississippi House of Representatives. He began serving in the House legislature in 2004. During this time, the Speaker has been a true ally to business community. He has championed workforce development. He's really set the stage for focusing on career and technical education, and he continues to make this a priority. He was vital in passing comprehensive liability protection during COVID for businesses and helped push workers' comp reform early in his time as Speaker. He oversaw the House's efforts in getting an estimated $200 million additional money for roads and bridges across the state. And of course, early in his tenure, he showed his commitment to education by pushing through the first teacher pay raise that the state had seen in a number of years. And of course, MEC really appreciates the Speaker's tireless effort and the work that he did in helping change our state flag, and being bold enough to stand up for doing this at a time when others weren't. Speaker Gunn is a graduate of Baylor University, where he played quarterback. He earned his law degree from the University of Mississippi. And at this time, I ask that you please give your attention to Speaker of the House, Philip Gunn.
Well, thank you so much. It is a great honor to be here today. I appreciate the opportunity to address the crowd, and what a wonderful crowd we have. Isn't it great to be able to get back together? I know last year, let's applaud ourselves for that. I know last year we had the COVID challenges, and as I recall, we did this virtually. So I'm thrilled to be back today to be with you, shake hands, see old friends, renew relationships, and fellowship together. What a wonderful time it is to be together. I had a plan to talk about a number of issues today, but I feel compelled to not discuss the things I had planned to, and to address what I view to be the hottest issue of the day. The number one thing that we need to talk about. Over the last week, I have received more phone calls about this than anything else, and I have spent more time working on this than anything else, and that is the vaccine mandates that are coming down from the President of the United States. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you that I have been out front, and many of you have seen me say that I believe the vaccine is the best tool we have in the toolbox to fight the virus. I've been vaccinated. I got family and friends that have been vaccinated, and we have encouraged others to do that. But I've had conversations with many of my family and friends and some of my church members who have concerns about the vaccine, and I respect that. I respect your right to make whatever health care decision as it pertains to the coronavirus that you think is best for you in consultation with your health care provider. I defend your right to make that decision. This is America. One of the greatest rights we have in this country is to make the decisions that we think are best for us in regards to our health care. This mandate has been created, I believe, a very unfair situation for both our employers and our employees. Our employers, for example, are forced to choose between respecting the rights of their employees to make whatever health care decision they think is right for themselves, and to make a decision as to how operational they can continue to be, how profitable they continue to be. These mandates are forcing employers to not be able to run his or her business like they think they ought to be able to run them. This is an infringement into the right of employers to run their business the way they want to. Some employers are telling me that they have employees that have informed them that if the mandates persist, they're going to walk out. This further hampers our businesses and our employees and our employers as they seek to provide that same level of service that makes them profitable. If their employees quit, they are less able to be profitable, less able to provide that level of service. The consequences of these mandates are adversely affecting our employers and their right to run their business like they want to. The mandates also adversely affect our employees because they force them to make a choice between their own health care decision, which they think is right, or lose their job. Now, these mandates, I believe, are exceeding the authority of the president. I think he's abusing his authority, and I think he needs to be stopped. Congress won't stop him, however. So we are searching for ways to put an end to these mandates and protect our employers and our employees. I'm searching for that solution that preserves the right of the employer to run his or her business like they think they ought to, and preserves the right of the employees to make their own health care decisions. But I believe our president is running roughshod over the American people. He's forcing these mandates into action, and it is working to adversely affect our economy and our industry. So we're looking for that solution. I will tell you, I have spent more time on this in the last week than any other issue I've worked on. I have talked to legislators from other states trying to find out what they're doing. I have talked to policy think tank organizations to find out what they're doing. I have my lawyers right now searching for a solution. They've been working on this for days, trying to find a way that we can address these mandates. It appears that a legislative solution is difficult at this time. First of all, we're not in session. Secondly, any legislation that we pass obviously can't trump federal law. So we are handcuffed, if you will, as to providing a legislative solution. So it appears to me that the best solution at this time is legal action. I'm aware that 24 attorneys general around the country have sent a letter to the president informing him that if he continues to persist in requiring these mandates, they will file a lawsuit challenging his authority to do this. I support that letter. I support that lawsuit. I've had consultation with my friends in Arizona. The Senate president in Arizona is a personal friend of mine. The state of Arizona has filed a lawsuit against the president of the United States. I have been in consultation with her. We have received that lawsuit. We are looking at that lawsuit. We think there may be a viable solution there. My plan is to give that to our Attorney General and ask her to consider whether or not this might provide that avenue that we're looking for to push back against these mandates by the President of the United States. So I felt it was very important today for me to address that first and foremost. I want you to know that we're looking for a way to protect the rights of our employers and the businesses which are members of this organization and the citizens of this state who have jobs and are looking to continue to provide those jobs. So thank you for letting me take a few minutes to address that. In the time that I have left, I want to address two items. One is the ARPA funds. These are the rescue monies that the government has sent down to us. I will tell you, we are in active discussions on how to spend those dollars. We are trying to wade through what the Treasury guidelines tell us we can and cannot do with those monies. We're trying to work to understand what those guidelines allow us to do. I have instructed the chairman and vice chairman of my appropriations committee to take the lead on developing a plan on how we will spend those dollars. We want to make sure we get the maximum benefit from the use of these dollars. We're trying to make sure that our return on investment is a solid one so that it results in economic prosperity for our state. So that's something we're actively working on. I wanted to make sure and assure you that we are constantly thinking about that, trying to make sure that we get good use of those dollars. And then the last thing I want to talk about in the few minutes I have left is workforce development. I know that is a key thing for MEC. Now, about 4 years ago, I formed what's called the Speaker's Commission on Public Policy. This is a commission that is designed to address policy issues. The first policy issue, each year we have a summit to address a different policy topic. The very first issue that I felt compelled to have a summit on was human trafficking. I've learned a lot about human trafficking. It's a scourge on our state. It is devastating to our communities. We had a summit and produced legislation to fight human trafficking. The very second summit that I held was on workforce development. I think that highlights for you the importance that we in the House of Representatives place on workforce development. As soon as we could host a summit on it, we did. And I will tell you that MEC was an active participant in that summit. MEC helped us craft ideas and legislation which we brought forward. We passed two bills that came out of that summit. We passed those bills last year, passed the House and the Senate. Unfortunately, they were vetoed by the governor. We plan to come back with those bills again. The bottom line is we believe workforce development is the key to prosperity in the state of Mississippi. Not long ago, I had a visit from the national lobbyist for the Association of Equipment Manufacturers. This man came out of Washington. He talked about manufacturing. He came to talk about economic development. And I asked him, I said, I'm curious to know, what is the number one issue when you're looking to place a company in a state? What is the number one issue for you? You know what his answer was? Workforce. I think that too highlights the importance of workforce, not just in Mississippi, but nationally. Everybody who's looking to be productive and put a company in a state is looking for that educated, qualified workforce. This week, I had a meeting with our new director of our Workforce Development Board, Ryan Miller, and I also had a meeting with Patrick Sullivan, who's the head of the SWIB board. We met and talked about how do we craft legislation that will increase the importance and the quality of workforce development in the state. I solicited their help on crafting legislation, taking the two bills that we passed, improving them, tweaking them, or developing further legislation that will increase the emphasis on workforce development in the state of Mississippi. I want you to know that the House of Representatives is taking workforce development seriously. We are actively working for ways to improve the quality of our workforce in Mississippi. We continue to solicit your input. We continue to invite MEC to be a part of that effort. We want your ideas, we want your suggestions, and then partnering together, we can make Mississippi the best place that it can possibly be for economic development. So I look forward to continuing those conversations. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you today. I hope to see all of you soon. Thank you.